Factory to 5 Labs. Today we're going to talk about this Eberlestock F5 Switchblade backpack. So I've been using this pack since about Thanksgiving, so several months now. Used it pretty much every day just for sort of general stuff. Had my just EDC things, I guess, in there. I used it to go to and from work. So carried a computer and files and things in there for work, and recently used this as my carry-on bag on a flight for a couple of days of vacation. So we're going to start off by just doing an overview of this backpack, go through everything, and then I will give you my pros and cons, what I liked and didn't like. So let's start up here. This top compartment up here just has some little organization spots, so some little places for pens. It's got a couple different little pockets. So it's got two pockets here with these little elastic Velcro retainers. Those pockets happen to be the exact size to carry items that are this shape. So if you were carrying any items that are this shape, they will go right in these pockets up in the top, and that little elastic will slide right over there. Moving around on the front of the bag, got a zipper right here. This is a sort of flat pocket. It's just the entire front of the bag. Just opens up sort of a big sort of flat area. You can stuff some things in there. Now on either side of the bag, you've got another zipper. And this is just a sort of narrow pocket all the way up the length of the side of the bag. And there's one of those on either side of the bag. So we've got one over here as well. And then on the outside here, we've got these water bottle pockets. These have this little drawstring with little cord keepers here. Tighten them down with these little cord locks, cord keepers. So, pocket for water bottle on either side of the pack. So on the back here, we've got our backpack straps and some back padding. These straps are completely adjustable, so you can adjust this up and down. You've probably got about 6 inches worth of adjustability here that you can raise and lower these straps, and there is a spot for a hip belt to pass through here as well. So you can put a hip belt right there in the bottom. Backpack straps are fully adjustable. You've got a sternum strap, and then up here you've got these load lift straps. Got a carry handle right here, sort of a nylon tube with some sort of padding in there, so pretty good carry handle there. And then the last thing on the outside is the concealed carry pocket. On the back of the bag, and you can access this from either side, right back here is a pocket that's held closed with some little magnets. So just sort of pops open, and you can reach in here from either side of the pack. So over there and over here. You can reach all the way behind this back panel, and it does go all the way up and all the way down. It is sewn down here at the bottom about where these black pads are. So there's two pieces sewn here to make sort of a V at the bottom of this pocket, and then there's two narrower sections on the sides. That is the concealed carry compartment on this backpack. The side towards the pack is a soft fabric. You could put Velcro in there. The side towards this back part is not. It's like a slick nylon. If you're heading out to play airsoft with your buddies, you can use this concealed pocket to put your airsoft guns. Just an airsoft gun. Don't get too excited there, YouTube. And it will slide into this pocket and down into that little triangle portion at the bottom. Those little pieces on the side, because this is kind of sewn into that V shape, and then there's these little spots on the side, and there's some little opening there where you can tuck some narrower items, like maybe some things like this. So if you had some items that are maybe this shape in size and you wanted to carry some extra ones, you can tuck them into those little pockets. Alright, so now let's look at the main compartment. So we've got another set of zippers up here. In the main compartment, I'm just going to open up the top first. It's got sort of this two-stage opening, so we can open it partway and open it like this. And just to show you the size, I've got my Nerf gun in here, because I know a lot of folks like to do EDC and carry their Nerf guns in their backpacks. So I put one in here so you can kind of see the size of items that would fit in this backpack. So there we go. This is probably about the longest thing that you'll want to fit in this backpack. 21 inches, maybe 21.5 inches there. And that will fit down in here and still be able to close it. It does get a little tight though. That's probably about as much as you're going to want to put in there if you're carrying Nerf guns. On the inside of the lid here, we've got a few little rows of some really narrow MOLLE type attachment. And you can access all of the interior of the pack from the top. And we've got quite a few things going on in here. The inside of the lid here and the back here are all soft. You could put Velcro items on there. And we've got a little bit of the MOLLE area here where you can attach things. Got one pocket here that is very long. This goes the full length all the way down the side of the bag. So one long pocket on that side. On this side, we've got a shorter pocket down here at the bottom, and then three sort of shorter, smaller pockets up here. On the back, we've got this sort of two portfolio style opening pockets. These will hold a laptop, folders, clipboard, whatever you want to stick in there. These don't go all the way to the bottom of the bag. They go almost all the way to the bottom, and they do have sort of a stiff side to them to help them keep their shape. Up here at the top, we've got a little clip and a loop for adding like a water bladder if you want to put a hydration system in here. And there is a pass-through right over here for a hydration hose to come out, and you can run that through the loops here on your straps so you can have water coming out of your pack. All the zippers on here have these big zipper pulls. You can really get your finger in there. Okay, so let's get into some pros and cons. Let me get into the pros first. By far, the best thing about this pack is back here. The padding and the shoulder straps and the adjustment, this is one of the most comfortable backpacks, let alone a small, like, everyday kind of backpack that I've ever carried, and I absolutely love it. It's super, super comfortable to carry. You can put a lot of weight and stuff in there, and you don't really notice that it's there. This padding is pretty thick down here, and the way it sits against your back, very comfortable. If you do have an item in this concealed carry pocket, as long as it's not super bulky and thick, you don't really notice it. It tends to sit pretty well behind this padding here. So this does a great job. All right, next big pro is zippers. I mentioned briefly the zipper pulls on this. I really love the zipper pulls and stuff on Eberlestock packs. It is super easy to get into the zippers, open any compartment that you need. They're just really easy to grab. Just with that loop, stick your finger in there. You can grab the zipper. They're easy to get to when it's dark or when you're trying to find them. You can always get that zipper and get a good grip on it, even if it's cold out or you're wearing gloves. They're just really easy to grab hold of. All right, another big pro to this is the way the bag opens. So you've got that sort of clamshell opening where you can open the top portion here, and you can access everything in the bag from the top, or you can open it all the way down and you can access things that way. Really getting everything that you need here in the bag. This makes it really easy when you're packing stuff in here. You can lay it down, you can get everything that you want in there, and then close it all up. So I really like backpacks that open all the way up that way where I can see things. The other thing I really liked doing with these zippers was zipping one of them around so that both zippers were on one side, and that gave me an easy way to get into that main compartment. So I had my front pocket right here, I've got my side pocket over here, and then my main compartment was right here. And I can open this up and get to pretty much all of my main compartment. Next pro is this thing just has a ton of space. That is a very big opening in there, and you can put a lot of stuff in this pack. You can overload it and carry way too much stuff because you've got a lot of room. Fortunately, you can carry a lot of weight because this is a very comfortable system back here. The last pro for me is just the construction of this pack. Eberlestock makes things pretty tough. They're making packs for hunters. They make some packs for military use. So these things are pretty tough, and you feel that when you pick this bag up. It just feels very sturdy. It's not overly heavy, but it just feels like a really sturdy bag. Now let's talk about some cons, some things that I don't like so much about this pack. So the biggest con is this concealed carry pocket. And there's nothing really wrong with the pocket itself. There's a huge design issue here, and that is the drawstring for the water bottle pockets. So they are attached right here in front of the pocket opening for this concealed carry pocket. So if this drawstring is sort of hanging out here and you go to reach in that pocket, it is really easy to snag things on either this drawstring or this little cord lock or this little loop or something, where either your hand catches on it, either your fingers catch on that loop, or something catches on this loop or on the toggle. Whatever item you're sticking in there can catch on that. There's not much room in there for a holster, so if you're carrying something without a holster and you're tucking it in there, that can be a big problem. And it's the same on both sides. You've got that cord just right in the way there. I've read a couple reviews where folks just cut this thing off because that was a problem, but that should not be a problem. It would be really simple to just move this drawstring to the front of the pocket, and then it wouldn't be an issue at all. So that's a big problem. I shouldn't have to cut parts off of my backpack to make this pocket accessible. And that was just really annoying. I ended up not actually using that concealed carry pocket more than a handful of times because it was just such a pain to get into with these strings in the way, and then it's just not really that easy to get into anyway. So I didn't even use that pocket, which kind of defeated the whole purpose of having the pocket there. Next issue that I had was with the zipper locations. So all of the zippers for the main compartment and this little top compartment run right up here at the top, but those zippers are really, really close to the top. So sometimes I had a hard time getting those zippers to run right here behind these pack straps. Especially I had a hard time grabbing them, and if I had these pockets zipped so that all the zippers were at the top, so I could open the pouches, then it was a bit of a pain to get to these zippers because they were right up here behind the backpack straps and this handle, and there's not really much space there to get the zippers. My third con with this pack is this top pocket. I stuffed a few items in these little pockets, and it ended up being things that I knew I wasn't going to need because I just wasn't accessing them, and it was more of a pain to get into this pocket and actually get the little things that I needed, and it was a whole lot easier just to start stuffing stuff in here. So this front pocket just ended up being a dump for all of the little things that I needed, and I would drop them in here because it was a lot easier to open this up and rummage around in it than it was to stand the pack up, open this, and try to get the items I wanted, or fight around these little elastic things that weren't really holding anything closed, because I am not carrying AR mags in this backpack. Alright, another con was this little, yeah, see the zipper's catching on the handle there because it's way too close. Alright, another con was this molly webbing here, and maybe this is just a picky con. I don't know. This little narrow molly is kind of useless. Because it's so narrow, it doesn't actually hold anything on there. It's just slides around, or because the lid's so soft it just bunches up. So I ended up not actually putting anything on this MOLLE because nothing stayed where I wanted it to when I put it on there. It just, I didn't find that useful at all, even for small items or lightweight items. Maybe that's just me being a little extra picky, but I didn't really see the purpose in this super narrow. I just put regular MOLLE in here. It would have been fine. So still on this inside compartment, these laptop sleeves. My problem with them was there's nothing holding these in place. There's no retainer. So if you don't have a lot of stuff in the bag, they just sort of flop around. If you're putting this up in an overhead bin, anything in here that's not, held in there tight by some sort of friction, it's just going to work its way to the top of the pack. So if your pack's up in an overhead bin and you're flopping around, you go to pull your pack out or you go to open it to get something out of it during the flight, and your tablet comes sliding out of there. So just needs a really simple little piece of Velcro to hold these closed. Just a couple more things. One of the other things that was not a huge deal, but did just sort of bug me, was that there's nothing on the outside of this bag. There's not a grab handle anywhere. There's no external straps. There's little hook points on the bag on both sides. There's 4 on each side of the bag. There's no compression straps. There's nothing on the outside. You can't secure anything on the outside. If I'm out in the rain and I take my wet coat off and I don't want to put it in my pack, there's nowhere to just strap it on the outside of my pack. And that leads me to my last con, which is the need to accessorize. This doesn't come with a hip belt, but you can buy an extra hip belt for it. There's no compression straps on the outside, but Eberlestock does sell compression strap kits that will hook into these, so you can put compression straps to collapse the pack down a bit. So you can add a lot of things to the pack, and some of the things that you can add, buy and add, are things that I would have just liked to have on this pack, especially for the price of this pack and comparing it to other backpacks, EDC style packs in that similar price range. The last piece about those accessories, if you get a hip belt or you get the hookup kits, the compression straps and stuff for this pack, rain cover if you want a rain cover, you live in Pacific Northwest or it's very wet, none of those things come in these colors. So those are my pros and my cons, things I really liked, things I didn't like. So sort of my overall thoughts on this pack. When I use an everyday carry pack, I want to use it every day for going to work, driving in the car, taking my kids to the park. So I want a pack that I can use for a long day at the zoo to carry water and extra clothes, or I can put my laptop in to go to work. I want it just for everyday things. This pack was great. It's got a lot of room, maybe too much room for everyday things. Maybe it's too big. But it clearly wasn't designed for EDC, at least not how I think of EDC. This pack was designed for a specific type of EDC. It was made for someone who wants to carry their Nerf blaster and pack that around with them, but it's not really made for that, going to the office or going to the park. That was sort of secondary thoughts when designing this pack, and you can kind of see that just in the way that things are kind of put together here. It's a great pack. I really do love it. I love how comfortable it is to carry, but it's not an everyday sort of backpack. You guys let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think of this pack, or if you've ever used an Eberlestock pack, give me your thoughts. Leave me a comment. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. If you enjoyed this, click that like button. If you want to see any other videos, you can hit that subscribe button. I try to make a video every week, and most of the time I succeed. Thanks. See you next time.